Every component of your hybrid multi-cloud environment is like a window that might be accidentally left open. An employee clicks on the wrong email link and boom, bad things happen. Hey, I'm Tom Shields. On today's Intelligence Report, protecting your company from expanding cyber threats. You know, IT spends trillions a year to keep pace with innovation, and we've built complex systems running thousands of apps across premises and multiple clouds using data from hundreds of locations. And most of the time we're shielded from this growing complexity, but it's a relentless challenge for security teams to keep up. Joining me today are Mignona and Dave. Guys, hybrid multi-cloud environments are growing. Cybersecurity threats are growing. What are a couple things that chief security officers can do to stay ahead of it?
It's interesting that you started off with hybrid and multi-cloud, two things that increase complexity for companies, which for any security person is a potential nightmare in terms of the things that they have to think about. So from my perspective, a lot of what happens in the security side is thinking about not just understanding where all of your potential attack vectors are, but it's also about how you might solve some of these problems.
What are some of the best practices, Mignona, that you employ there? You have this notion of a well-managed, secure environment. What goes into that?
In order to do the monitoring, some basic tools you need, like your web application firewalls, to look at if there are any attacks directed towards you, as well as your behavioral analytics, what's going in and out, but then also looking at network segmentation. One of the benefits of the cloud environment is they're naturally designed in virtual private clouds, and so they're little mini segments, if you want to say it that way, but little miniature networks in which, should something happen, then you're protected from it going to other parts of your company.
Most people are in the cloud today. Should virtual private clouds be employed for these kind of environments?
Yes, that's one of the key deployment mechanisms for the cloud environment, is to create segmented networks, which is great from what we had historically where we had flat networks.
It sounds like multi-layer monitoring and scanning for threats. It's great. Sometimes things happen. What is your final line of defense?
You start with the perimeter and you work your way inward. At the end of the day, it's your data that's the most important thing that you're trying to protect. And so the storage systems have a huge impact on how you think about both what's critical to you as a company, but then also your data protection strategy. Ultimately, when you think about that multi-layered story, it's an application story, it's a infrastructure story, and then eventually a data story as well.
Do you see it the same way, Mignona?
I do. It's going back to backing up your data and backing it up everywhere that data is.
Across your whole hybrid multi-cloud estate.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And what about recovery?
I think ultimately the goal, of course, is it's not just enough to say that my data is protected. The question ultimately becomes, how quickly can my business continue to operate in the event of a cyber attack or anything that's related to those sorts of elements? And so you see a lot of vendors now really investing. It's not just a passive thing, like how do I make sure my data is protected, but it's more active in terms of how do I bring it back online when the worst things happen.
And that's what you want to look for in a vendor, I would think. How fast can they help me recover if it does happen? Well, thank you both. The threat landscape feels like the universe, always expanding. But as we've heard, there are steps that you can take to stay ahead. Be sure to tune in to the rest of our series on cybersecurity. We'll talk about the talent gap and fostering consumer confidence.